Hi, everyone. I am Ayse Hogan from the Chakra House of Healing. Um, I'm a holistic coach. I work with hypnosis and I work a lot with energy. I work a lot with the body and spiritually spiritually and mentally. So I had brought CBD into the practice as a additional tool, but I really wanted to understand how it was helping people, right? So like, what does it do? Is it the CBD that does the work? Like, I needed to sort of understand what was happening. So I decided to do a little bit of research on the endocannabinoid system and what CBD does for us. And it's very scientific. So I had to spend an extra day and try to get this in a way that kind of is just like, if you know me, I like to make things really relatable, right? So I want everyone to understand what I'm saying here. So first, the first cannabinoid, let's just talk about that. So our body is full of cannabinoids, and so are a lot of plants, okay? So we're going to get into that a little bit more. But the first cannabinoid was discovered in 1964, okay? And it was discovered by a doctor from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. And what he discovered and what was synthesized was THC. Okay, so they found THC first. And then in 1992, this same doctor and his teams, okay, so we're talking like relatively new here. I think they've always known that cannabis was good for us. I mean, like I said, if you go back to the patent of 1937, we discussed that in a previous video that I did. There was a patent. They had done a lot of research. They could tell you how much CBD or marijuana, or anyways, from the cannabis plant that you needed for certain ailments in your body. So I'm trying to understand when they understood certain things. But in 1992, doesn't matter. Let's just figure out what's going on now. So in 1992, the same doctor and his team identified an anandamide neurotransmitter, that occurs naturally in the brain. It's called anandamide. And ananda is a Sanskrit word for bliss, for delight. Okay? So they found this anandamide neurotransmitter in the brain, and this is also called AEA, and it's a really long word, and I'm not even going to try and say it. So it's known as AEA. Okay, and it is an endogenous cannabinoid. And what that means, endogenous cannabinoids are produced naturally by the body. So we are producing cannabinoids in our body as well. Okay, so then when they discovered this anandamide neurotransmitter, that's what led them to find the endocannabinoid system, which was named for the cannabis plant. Okay, so when they named the system, they actually named it for the cannabis plant. So the ECS, the endocannabinoid system, the ECS is made up of lots of receptors and these endogenous endocannabinoids that are found throughout our whole body. It's in our brain, it's in our organs, it's in our glands, it's in our connective tissues, it's in our immunity cells. It regulates our appetite, our pain sensation, our mood, our memory. So really, it's just doing all kinds of stuff in there, right? So it's just, we have these all the way throughout our body. It brings us these cannabinoids, these receptors, these cannabinoids, and receptors bring our body into balance and harmony, which is called homeostasis. Okay, so all of these bring us back into balance and to harmony. All right, so when we are balanced, we are in homeostasis. Okay, so what the heck is a cannabinoid? All right, so we talked about endogenous cannabinoids. Our body produces them. There's another type called phytocannabinoids, and that's produced by plants. And then there's a third type called the synthetic cannabinoids that are created and engineered in labs. Okay, so they help to regulate every major system of the body. Our nervous system, our digestive system, our reproductive system, our endocrine system, our muscular system, our elimination system, our circulation system. So all of these systems in our body are being regulated by these cannabinoids that we are producing in our body and the phytocannabinoids that we're bringing in. And there are some synthetic cannabinoids, I guess we get in some of the, maybe the vitamins and stuff that we're taking, right? Okay. And they keep us balanced and in homeostasis. So they're found throughout the body and they're embedded into the membranes of many of our cells. Okay. So it's actually said to, like when I was reading about it, they were calling it like the lock and key effect. So basically, the cannabinoids signal and the receptors respond. Okay, so it's like you're knocking on the door. So the cannabinoids signal, the receptors then respond. Okay, and then the receptors receive the cannabinoids in. So it's like the cannabinoids are knocking on the door, the receptors open the door and allow the cannabinoids to come in. So that's basically how it's working. This relationship has been going on between cannabinoids and receptors for over 600 million years, 600 million years, and is found in every vertebrate, every species that has like a vertebrae, in all vertebrate species, okay? This is super important. There are two main receptors when dealing with phytocannabinoids. We have the CB1 receptors and we have the CB2 receptors in our bodies. These are found in all the tissues, in a lot of our tissues, what they call the peripheral tissues, and our nervous system and other places in the body as well. So we've got these receptors everywhere, these CB1 and CB2 receptors. And the cannabis family has various compounds, all right, that can attach themselves and bond to these receptors. So when they attach themselves and they bond, now we're back to the lock and key effect, right? So they signal, receptors open up and let the cannabinoids in, okay? So the research has proven that this will alleviate many conditions and symptoms found in the body. Why? Because when we are in homeostasis, okay, our body is able to regulate itself the way that it is supposed to do it, okay? So I'm going to get into why we are not in homeostasis most of the time, okay? So I can't even name to you all the symptoms and the things that are, that this being in balance and these cannabinoids from these plants help us to do. Okay, because it's just ridiculous how much it helps us with. But I can name a few things. And I'm going to talk about the symptoms rather than the name of the disease. I don't like labeling things. So I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms that we find in multiple sclerosis, in cancer, in stroke, in Parkinson's, degeneration of cells, the nerve endings being very sensitive, inflamed, right? So we've got all these things, like I said, brain degeneration. We find that in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, right? Joint pain. Like there's so many different things that can happen to us. And there are symptoms from a lot of these things, like glaucoma, like it just goes on and on and on. So even human breast milk. So human breast milk has a lot of cannabinoids in it, and they share a lot of the cannabinoids that you can find in the cannabis plant are actually in our breast milk. Okay, so there's something going on clearly, right? So what do these cannabinoids do for the baby? Okay, so the baby gets protected against disease. Okay, that's why breast milk is so amazing. It's helping the child to develop. It's protecting the baby against disease. All right, cannabinoid levels are paramount for good nutrition and creation of omega-3s. We need omega-3s. Okay, so this is the stuff that it's helping us to do. I was trying to read about CB1s and CB2s, and I can tell you, I'm just going to go to the basics because this gets very scientific and my eyes start to cross. So CB1 and CB2s, their job is to basically stimulate, excite, or even inhibit in some cases, so that we can, the processes, so it excites, stimulates, and inhibits the processes in our body so that we can regulate our body, so we can bring ourselves in balance, right? If this is too overactive, it needs to slow that down, right? So, and if we need to stimulate or and excite some of those receptors, we're going to do that too, right? So we need to bring ourselves into a balanced state, okay? So this is basically a hormone regulation system, keeping our body in balance. It's all about balance, okay? Now, the body also can create its own endocannabinoids. And it does this by using fatty acids like omega-3s. Okay, so nourishment of the body is super important. Why? We need to be hydrated. We need to be eating the right things. We need to be eating stuff with omega-3s in it. Omega-3s are found in stuff like walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds, sardines, salmon, tuna, fresh basil, spinach, beans, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, avocados. These are places that you will find these omega-3s. Okay, and if we're deficient in our omega-3s, we are not in homeostasis, right? So the nourishment of our body is super important. We have to be careful what we're putting into ourselves. All right. I think in this world of fast food and everything's a medicine and popping this and popping that and not caring what we're putting on our body when it comes to shampoo and body lotions and makeup and different things that we're putting onto our body, we forget that our skin is also an organ. Whatever we put on ourselves, we ingest, right? You know, we go to the dentist and they're pushing, you know, when they're cleaning our teeth, they're like pushing all that bacteria and crap into our bloodstream. Like we are constantly poisoning ourselves. All right. So the only way to bring ourselves back into balance quickly, okay, is going to be with a plant like the ones from the cannabis family, like CBD. Why? Because that's going to bring us back into balance fast. Okay? Because doing it through nourishment is going to take some time. Plus our food, being that most of it is GMO, a lot of it is non-organic, right? So we're eating a lot of pesticides and contaminants. So even though we try to eat properly, we can't. Okay? So we've got to find some ways to make ourselves healthy, to bring ourselves into homeostasis. And that means using something that's full of phytocannabinoids, terpenes, different things that are going to work together synergistically with our own bodies to make us create the cannabinoids that we want to create as well, to open our receptors, to get them excited, to open the door, let the cannabinoids in, right? So we can be balanced, so we can be in harmony. I know I'm talking really fast here. I'm trying to get all this information out of my head. It's a little bit like verbal diarrhea, but I'm trying to get it all out there for you. So basically what I'm trying to say to you is this. We need to be in balance to be at our best. And that means our body can heal itself. But in order to do that, we need help, okay? It's like when people come to me for coaching and consulting them regarding their own mental state of mind, right? So how they're dealing with things. Are they able to do this themselves? Probably, but they're so in the such, they've let themselves go so long, not on purpose, it's just the way life goes, for so long that they need someone like me to facilitate. Physically, we've let ourselves down, even though we are trying to be healthy, even though a lot of us, you know, we're trying to watch what we eat and all of that stuff, but we're still probably not bringing ourselves into a state of homeostasis. If we can take something like a CBD, something from the cannabis plant, that's going to be like, okay, that's going to stimulate our receptors. Okay, that's going to excite our receptors. That's going to get our receptors working. If everything's working, then we're going to bring ourselves into balance. If something is overloaded, if something's working too much, we need to slow it down. We need to make something else work more. And these plants have what we need. Okay, so the endocannabinoid system, it regulates pretty much everything. Everything. Okay, so like I said, it's the brains, it's the organs, it's the glands, it's our systems in our body, it's hormone regulation, it's all of that. And this plant helps us to bring ourselves into regulation, so into balance. So what I want to talk about with you is think about CBD or the cannabis plant, because there's a number of plants in that family, as like a vitamin. It's something that we take every day to bring ourselves into homeostasis. It's got anti-aging. We are aging faster than we should be aging. Okay? So we're aging faster. I can already tell you, like, I've been taking it for 3 months now, and I can see the difference in my skin and the wrinkles going away and things happening, right? So clearly, I haven't been giving myself the proper nourishment, and this is bringing me into balance. Okay, I can tell with different changes that are happening in my body, right? I can tell that even I'm not even interested in eating junk food. Not that I ate a bunch of it before, but I'm not even interested in it anymore. I can tell with how my body's reacting and wanting certain things. I can almost feel it. I can tell with the aches and pains that I had in my body. I just turned 53, so I had some feeling a little bit like a Rice Krispie square in the morning. Things were like cracking and snapping, and I could feel it, and it's now gone, right? So changes are happening. And I'm noticing it even with some of my clients that are taking it. Changes are happening. It's bringing us into balance. It's getting our endocannabinoid system regulated. Okay? Because with what's available out there for us to eat and stuff, it's getting a little bit hard. It's no word of a lie. Even our water, it's hard for us to keep ourselves the best that we can. It's an effort. That's for sure. Like, you have to be on it all the time. So if we can take something that can help us to do that, why not? Right? Okay, so that's my little thing about the endocannabinoid system today. If you have any questions, if I wasn't clear on something, please send it to me. Like I said, I'm just learning along with you, and I'm just sharing with you what I'm learning. And if I'm not saying it right, or if I've said something wrong that you've read and gone, oh my gosh, doesn't know what she's talking about, please let me know. Acne. So I'm just going to read some of this stuff here, right? So it fights wrinkles, acne, protects your vision, a healthy heart, works with your cholesterol, boosts your cholesterol while boosting. Basically, it's going to help to clear your arteries, improves fertility, right? I work with clients who have ED, right? So those of you who don't know what ED is, it's erectile dysfunction, okay? And again, it's because of some of the foods that we're eating. It's causing some issues down there. I'm talking about non-organic, okay? So it's not because of a medical reason that they have this. It's something else, and it could be because of the food that we brought into our body. There could be some mood issues with it as well. Some beliefs behind it, but this helps. It helps with fertility for men to be more fertile and helping the situation move along. It helps with women as well. So really, when we are in balance, everything is working, right? Everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I want to thank you for joining today, and I don't want to go too long. I was yakking a little bit longer than I wanted to today, but I just want you to let you know to do some reading about the endocannabinoid system, but this is really the basics. What I gave you is kind of like the nuts and bolts. It's what you need to know. I don't know if you want to know all that scientific stuff. I really didn't, so I just really wanted to get to the basics so that I can explain it to my clients and my affiliates and people that want to work with me when it's coming to CBD, because they ask, what does this do for us? So it's not a Band-Aid. It's actually going in there to help you to fix yourself. Remember that Tom Cruise movie, Help Me, Help You, right? Help me to help you. This is kind of the same thing, right? So the plant is helping us to help ourselves, right? So that's an awesome thing. So we finally found something, or something that's always been out there, but we finally got our hands on something that can actually do some really wonderful things for us. Okay, so please, like I said, send me anything that you want to send me regarding this. If you have any questions, let me know, because I am sure that other people have those questions too, and I would be happy to do some research around it. I will be talking to you guys about a lot of other stuff coming up soon. I'm just going on and on right now. Now I'm just blabbing. So I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Enjoy your long weekend. Hope you see lots of fireworks this weekend. And that's it. Happy Sunday. Bye.